Legal expert Dina Doll weighs in.
Probably all of them. In terms of criminal liability, there requires some sort of recklessness to have an involuntary manslaughter charge. If there were failings on their part that rose to recklessness, then one or many of them could have some sort of criminal liability.
Well, because as you said, cold gun was announced, it was reasonable for him to not think that there was any type of ammunition, including a blank, in the gun. If that's the case, then he wouldn't have any kind of criminal negligence, which requires some sort of recklessness. But it's interesting because the actor is also a producer of the film, and it's possible as we get more information, there may have been civil negligence involved, which only requires an unreasonableness of care. And if that's the case, it's possible he may have monetary liability, but we're really in the beginning of the investigation here.
As for lawsuits, legal expert Dina Doll weighs in.
How much he did know will play into a civil lawsuit. Whether or not he was aware of how serious things were becoming and what he could have done in the moment to stop it.
Switching gears now, developing story. Harvey Weinstein was sentenced to 23 years in prison today in a landmark Me Too case. Joining me now to discuss today's sentencing is law and crime legal analyst from the LNC network, Dina Doll. Dina, thanks so much for coming in and talking about this case. Everybody was watching. He gets 23. What does that say to you?
It says that the judge took this very seriously. The prosecution asked the judge to punish this as severely as a crime involving a stranger. Usually crimes involving acquaintances or people in the workplace aren't even brought actually to trial. And here there was not only a trial, but a conviction.
Dina, first of all, thank you for taking the time to speak with us. I want to go back to what's happening today with Donald Trump's company. What do you make of the fact that his company CFO has surrendered to the authorities?
What we know is that charges will be unsealed today. He's likely to plead not guilty, and his attorneys have said that he will not cooperate with the investigation.
Of trespass, and how does it apply here?
My guess is they are still collecting evidence and aren't sure if they actually want to charge him with trespassing. And that's why they're saying suspicion of trespassing. Either way, how this police officer handled it, we expect training. We expect there to be de-escalation. The person who escalated the situation here was not that child. It was the police officer. And that's wrong because he's the one with the gun.
What's going on here?
Legally, they both have a problem because there is nothing in writing between the two of them, which a court is not going to like.
I think the prosecutor did a great job at laying out the evidence they have connecting him to the crime. The glaring omission was the why.
This reminds me a lot of the Harvey Weinstein case where they also requested a change of venue. I mean, I don't think there's anywhere in the world you could get a jury of 12 people who have not heard this case.
I've been following this case since jury selection, and I was not surprised at the quick verdict because the prosecution showed overwhelming evidence of not only the unreasonableness of the force, but also the cause of death.
What his defense argues is that this is too prejudicial, that this is too inflammatory. In the United States, we don't put people on trial for being bad people, and that this is what this evidence shows.